Welcome Year 2 and everyone else at St Merrill's who's watching this video. This is a survival special for you to tie in Mrs Thorne's science class for Year 2. Now you've all been studying survival, getting marooned on an island, what you would take, etc. So now we're going to do a bit of survival skills. Now the first thing of survival situation is a positive mental attitude. What is a positive mental attitude? Well, if you go into a situation with like, oh no, I'm stuck here, what am I going to do? I'm going to die. You will do. If you go in there and you think, okay, I'm alive, what resources have I around me? What can I do to get me out? That leads us on to our next quotation. Improvise, adapt and overcome. What do those words mean? Improvise. Okay, what can I use? What can I use? Okay, I may not have a piece of string, but I could use the roots of a tree. Adapt. So you adapt something for a situation and you overcome the problem. Okay, so how long do you think you will survive without air, without shelter, without water, or without food? Well, air, we all need air to breathe. 3 minutes is what you would survive without before you die. Shelter, depending on the conditions, now, is about 3 hours. If, for example, you are in the Arctic, you've probably got about 3 hours before you die of hypothermia or frostbite. Or if in the ever extreme, you are in the desert, and if you're in the midday blazing sun, you've probably got about 3 hours before your body completely dehydrates. Now water, you can survive 3 days without water. Food, 3 weeks. So as long as you've got shelter and water, you'll survive. You can find the other things out as we go along. Okay? So the first thing that we're going to look at is water. We'll see you in a minute. Another way of collecting water is first thing in the morning, you'll end up with water droplets on the grass called dew. Now what you can do, as you can see, look at that. If you've got a t-shirt, for this we're using a St Merrill's school t-shirt, right? If you rub it all over the grass, I'm only doing a small area here. If you do it in a large area, you would end up with, as you can see on that t-shirt, how much water I've collected already. Now if you had long grass around you, what you could do is you could tie the t-shirt to your leg, and then what you do is you walk through the grass goes against this, and all the early morning dew comes on to the t-shirt, and then you can wring it out and you've got some drinking water. Okay. Another way of getting some water, you don't usually get a lot from it, but another way is condensation. Now what we've done is we've placed this plastic bag, actually it's the plastic bag out of the shredder in the school. Okay, we've placed it over the branches of the tree. Now as you can see, moisture has started to form. Now this has only been on there for a few hours in the sun. What's it now? It's now 10 o'clock-ish. It's been on there for about 3 hours, and as the sun's come up, the moisture, the difference in temperature has certainly caused that. Now, if I pull this off, as you can see, it's starting to collect at the bottom there. Now, that's not going to be enough to keep you alive during the day, but it's a way of collating some water in a short period of time. Then you can put this on overnight. Try it. Get a clear plastic bag, tie it to some branches overnight, and see what happens. Okay? So that's not bad for a couple of hours work, is it? Another way of finding suitable drinking water is to find a river or a pond or a lake, wherever you are. So we're going to use a pond that's in my garden. So I've got a couple of glasses here. Here we have a nice glass of water. Do you really want to drink that at the moment? Is that a big no? I'm now going to show you how to make a charcoal filter. Okay, so for that we need, if I can find them, plastic bottle. Now there's loads of these floating around the world on the seas. So if you're stuck on the island, here you go, you can use one of those. We're going to use some sand. Which you find on the beach. And some charcoal out of a fire. Okay? Now what you would do with this charcoal is you would grind it down into a fine paste. So you could grind it down between two rocks. Okay? So it comes out like that. Now we're going to cut the end off the bottle. You get the lid, and we make a small little hole in the lid. Just a small bit. That's where the water's going to come out of. Small little hole, that's all you need. Okay. Now, you need a small bit of cotton wool to go in the bottom of the lid, or something else. You could have a bit of a t-shirt to do the job. Okay, so then we're going to put that in there, like so. We're now going to put some layers of sand. My sister wants to put some sand in there for me. No, put it, just tip it in like that. Get your hands and tip it in. Okay, now we're going to put some layers of charcoal. Now we put some more sand. More charcoal. More sand. More charcoal. Okay, one more lot of sand. Right, put that down. Okay, there's our pint glass. There it is. Move it that way. Okay, so now, you want to hold that heavy? We're going to filter some water. And this may take a little while. So we pour that in. and we let it. Now it may take anything up to 15 to 20 minutes to go through, so we will come back to it in a little while. Okay, we'll see you in a minute when it's starting to come through. And we've only been about 5 minutes and it's starting to come through now. As you can see,
it's very clear.
As my assistants has said, it's very clear. Look at the difference in the colour of the water.
It's because we made it of the filter.
Because it's got we've made a charcoal filter. Now what happens is the sand takes out all the large particles and the charcoal takes out all the other bad stuff that's in there. Now, as you can see, that is really coming through clear. This is near enough the same as what you have in your house if you have a water filter. It's a very similar concept. Now, I still would not drink this straight away like that. You could do it in an emergency, if it was a dire emergency. But what I would do with this water now is boil it. Okay? So we just watch and wait and see and look how much comes through. Well, it's only been about 10 minutes, and as you can see, right, it's really come out. That's how much water in 10 minutes. That's about half a pint. And it's from that colour to that colour. So that's amazing, isn't it? And all that is plastic bottle, some sand. Now you can give the sand a very slight wash beforehand, and some charcoal out of the barbecue, whatever. Just grind it down, make it into a very fine powder, and then layer it, pour it in. You could do this at home. Have an experiment. Now, you could drink this in an emergency, but to be doubly sure, I would boil this now. Boil it on over a fire, and then it's drinkable. Enjoy. Welcome back. Right, now we're now boiling the water. I've cheated slightly because I've used a camping stove purely for filming purposes here. Okay. And what you would do in survival, you would boil this over a fire, which I will show you later on how to do fire. So there we have it, right? From that to that, perfectly safe drinking water in a matter of about 20 minutes. Okay. Well, I think it's time for a tea break. So let's have a cup of tea. Cheers. Yeah. Oh, the Pond, I think it's called. See you in a minute.